Good morning, Warzone kids. It's a beautiful day on the trail this morning. Warzone kids is just my term for those of us who had a childhood that was more like a guerrilla war than it was a supportive nursery where we all got what we needed. I'm a child sex abuse survivor, and your war zone might be like that. Your war zone might have been just straight up physical harm, physical abuse, emotional neglect, physical neglect. Maybe it was a lot of societal harm. You're just, so-called wrong race, color, or creed of person wherever you grew up, and the whole world is arrayed against you. If you're a war zone kid, you probably know what I mean by that phrase. And I think of our psyche, our soul, who we are as a Jenga tower. Like that game, it starts off, nice and solid, and then if you're a war zone kid, by the time you're an adult, that Jenga tower looks like it does at the end of the game, all swaying, unsteady, can't even look at it hard without it falling over. And many of us know what it's like for our Jenga tower to fall over. Well, my Jenga tower has fallen down any number of times. Whenever it does, you just pick it up, start putting it back together again. That's what I mean by war zone kid. And I think of our task as Warzone kids is to live in the present, live our life right now. And I think of that for me as a pilgrimage, headed to the Western lands, the place of peace and wholeness where I learn to become what I am. If you like these videos, go to my channel on YouTube at Trail to the Western Lands. I got these videos in a playlist with names on them, so you can find them if you like them, because I make them for you if you're a Warzone kid. I'm sharing my morning with you, and I appreciate you sharing yours with me. I was talking about the Grail Woods last couple videos. I did a couple videos on which I called a side quest into the Briar Patch, but this is not the side quest. We're back on the main trail right now. I'll make some more about that side quest, and I'll label them like that in case you don't like them. But the Grail Woods is the place where you got to find your path. That's just yours. You got to find your path by discovering it, and you got to discover your path by finding it. And you get out of the Grail Woods as you learn to listen to yourself, and you get closer to yourself, and you learn to trust yourself a little bit. Well, after you get out of the Grail Woods, which you can get to over and over again, so sometimes this next patch happens before you get to the Grail Woods. But another patch on the trail is the Tar Baby Beaver Bog. I told an Uncle Remus story the other day with a kind of a lengthy acknowledgement about the fact that I'm a 51-year-old cracker from Oklahoma telling stories that were gathered by a young white man who was a boy on a plantation in Georgia before the Civil War. And these stories were collected by my fellow human creatures who were enslaved in the United States. And I'm a white boy. Most of my family fought in the Confederate Army in the war between the states from Alabama and Tennessee. And I acknowledge awareness of these facts. But I'm very glad that those Uncle Remus stories were collected by Joel Chandler Harris, the fellow that did it. Because if he hadn't collected those stories, we wouldn't have them. And I'm very glad to hear these stories that my fellow human creatures living enslaved told. I'm very glad to hear their stories. So this is another one. I told a story about Brer Rabbit the other day. Well, there's another story about Brer Rabbit. Brer Rabbit means he's a rabbit lived in the briar patch. Briar patch, Brer patch. He lived in briars. Briar rabbit, Brer Rabbit. You can see how it goes. Well, Brer Rabbit was a wily creature, but he was haughty. Did not like to be insulted, did not like to have his pride besmirched. And he's walking along. Brer Fox wanted to catch him. Brer Fox is wily, and he can never lay his hands on Brer Rabbit. But Brer Fox said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to catch him up. I'm going to catch Brer Rabbit up in a tar baby. So he got him a big lump of tar, big, thick, viscous, semi-solid tar. And he shaped it up in the shape of a baby, little kid. And he put a bonnet on it, put little breeches on it, and he set it up by the side of the trail where he knew Brer Rabbit's going to pass on by. And he kind of knew Brer Rabbit, and he kind of knew how I was going to go. And he stood over there in the bushes and he waited. And Brer Rabbit comes skipping along, singing his song, Old and Tucker. And Brer Rabbit coming along, he saw that tar baby, and he said, "Howdy, partner." And that tar baby didn't say nothing back because it's a tar baby. Brer Rabbit stopped. He went back. He said, "I said, howdy, stranger." Tar baby said nothing back. Brer Rabbit got huffy. He said, "I said, good morning, cowboy. Why ain't you got nothing to say back?" Tar baby didn't say nothing back. Brer Rabbit got real haughty. Not be insulted like that. Say good morning to a fella. He don't even have time of day to say nothing back. That ain't right. And he said, "Well, you better open that mouth and find something good to say, or I'm going to give you a knuckle sandwich." And that tar baby didn't say nothing back. Brer Rabbit said, "All right, you're going to be a tough guy. You're going to pay the price." Punch him in his face. Hand got stuck in that tar. He said, "You let go of my hand, boy. Let that go." Tar baby didn't say nothing. "I'm going to give you another one right in the kisser." Brer Rabbit reared back, punched him. Now both his hands are stuck. And he's madder than ever. "I'm going to kick every loving fire out of you, boy." Brer Rabbit kicked him in big old rabbit legs. Nothing happened. Kicked him with the other leg. Tar baby didn't say nothing back. Now Brer Rabbit and the tar baby are wrestling. And by this time, Brer Rabbit's thoroughly hung up in that tar baby. Fur matted down with tar, hands stuck, feet stuck. He can't get out of that tar baby. And now he's just a sitting duck, waiting on Brer Fox to come along and get him. So I think about that tar baby. And I think about life as a human being, as a war zone kid. And I think about that tar baby as that brings to mind like ideas we can have in our mind. We can get stuck on ideas in our mind and just start fighting with the ideas in our mind and forget about the life that we're living and the trail right in front of us, and get bogged down fighting with the own ideas in our mind because they're sticky. I'll give you an example. When a person first becomes kind of aware that you're a war zone kid, you kind of, you get started on your own trail to the Western lands, whatever that means for you, but you become aware that you're a war zone kid. This will bring with it often all kind of anger and resentment and rage at the past, because you become aware of truths about your own life that you've been hiding. You've been hiding your own life from yourself. And when you become aware of it, you start to become conscious and let yourself see the reality of your own life. Man cannot make you angry and resentful, because you can see the years lost in damage, the years lost in coping, in like the coping phase, where you're just, I'm an addict, I'm a recovering addict and bulimic, and I spent a great deal of my life just lost in those struggles in various forms. And I can get real angry and real resentful about that, because I'm a 51-year-old man and I'm aware that I can't get any of those years back. I can't get any of those years back. They're gone. They're gone. And I can reflect on the fact that I know good and well why my Jenga tower got how it was. I'm a child sex abuse survivor. I was caused an enormous amount of harm in my childhood over a long period of time. Psychological harm, some physical harm, but not near as much as others. Sexual harm, emotional harm. And those years are just gone. Gone. Those years I spent leading up to the 51st year on the planet, they're just gone. And that's a tar baby in the mind. You can get stuck on that. See what I mean? Stuck on that. Well, that ain't the only tar baby. There's a lot of others. The quest for justice. I got to change the world so other kids don't get hurt like that. Now that is a noble goal, and if you're living a life such that you can do stuff in the present that diminishes the chance of harm, rock on, please do it. But the quest for justice is a tar baby in your mind, because that boils down to a quest to change the past, really. The quest for justice is a tar baby, keeps you stuck. The feeling of victimhood. Victimhood is one of the stickiest tar babies there is. All these tar babies, they get you because they call out to you. Brer Rabbit got caught up in that tar baby because that tar baby called out to him. Brer Rabbit was a proud rabbit, and he couldn't stand to be insulted, right? Brer Fox knew that. That's why that tar baby caught Brer Rabbit. It was for him. Now somebody else might have walked along and seen that tar baby for what it was. That ain't someone sitting there. That's just a lump of tar with a hat on it. But Brer Rabbit just saw it out of the corner of his eye, said hello, and when that tar baby didn't answer back, that's what got Brer Rabbit. It called out to him because he experienced that as an insult. Now, how are you going to be insulted by a cold chunk of asphalt with a hat on it? Well, that's because it got him. See? So if you're a child sex abuse survivor like I am, you've been victimized. You were a victim of that. It hurt you. It caused you harm. And part of learning and becoming who you are is to face that fact, to be aware of it, and to acknowledge it, and to be conscious of it. And if you ain't real careful, that conscious awareness of the reality of your life can turn into a tar baby that keeps you stuck because it's true, because there's an element of truth in it, and it keeps you stuck. And that's a tar baby. And you ain't going nowhere in life as long as you're stuck on them tar babies, right? There's any amount of tar babies. Those are ones for me. The past for me, for this guy, for this 51-year-old man. Think about years I spent stuffing my veins with biker crank. I was an IV drug using addict for a while in my youth. I smoked rock. I dropped out of college because of it. Cost me years. I had to get back and finish it. Cost me years off my life. I dried out from that, and I'm recovering bulimic. I cram my guts full of food and heave it back up again. And I know there's a lot of bulimics watching this. I share with you the feeling that of all the dark experiences, of all the dark days and nights I've ever had in my life, and I've certainly had my share, there's a special kind of blackness that you get when you stand up from heaving your guts out in the toilet and you look in the mirror and your eyes are watering because you've been heaving and your throat hurts and you feel gross and disgusting. The level of self-hate and self-loathing that I felt when I was living like that, and then I know from talking to my fellow war zone kids that are also bulimics, they share with me that that's the darkest they ever felt, really. Many of them. That's all in the past, and I can't get none of that back. You see, just talking about it threatens to put that tar baby up in front of me. See, you can probably see that. What are your tar babies? You probably got tar babies in your mind, in your life. Just think about that. What is sticky for you? When you can identify what's sticky for you, the tar babies that you get caught up in, maybe other people wouldn't. I would probably not get caught up in your tar babies. You would very likely not get caught up in my tar babies. That don't help either of us, because your tar babies are for you. They're for you. My tar babies catch me, not other people that catch me, right? When you become aware, first of all, of just that you're stuck in ideas, victimhood, justice, trying to change other people. That's a giant tar baby for me. My folks are still alive. They cause me enormous amounts of harm. They're still my folks. And if you're a war zone kid, it's okay that you still feel a bond with your folks if it was your folks that caused you harm. It's okay to feel a bond with people that caused you harm because that's not really up to you. The vast, overwhelming majority of children in this country that are sexually abused are sexually abused not by pedophiles in a white van. The overwhelming majority of child sex abuse survivors were harmed by people very close to them and their family, their parents, their siblings, their grandparents, their aunts, their uncles. Overwhelming majority, particularly if you include just people that they know. Overwhelming majority. And you may feel some kind of bond with them. That is natural. You join the rest of us. That is okay to acknowledge. That can be a tar baby. Guilt over that, self-loathing over that. That can be a tar baby. That's okay. You know how the story has a happy ending. I don't know what happened with Brer Rabbit. The Uncle Remus story, I think, just kind of ends with Brer Rabbit getting stuck. But in life, it has a happy ending. Because for the most part, here's how you escape from tar babies in your life. You become aware that you're stuck in a tar baby in your life. Most of the time, when you become aware and you let yourself become aware, that's a tar baby. The act of saying that is what releases you from the tar baby. Simultaneously. You can say that fact, you can point that out to yourself, you can become aware that you're stuck in a tar baby only because you are already released from the tar baby. And the act of that awareness is what releases you from the tar baby. This is how things go in the mind. It is a slippery place, our consciousness. The way you escape from a tar baby is by already having escaped from the tar baby. That may make it sound impossible, but it ain't. That is how it works. So you can ask yourself, what are the tar babies that you're stuck on? When you're bad, stuck in a tar baby, you don't even know you're stuck in a tar baby. When Brer Rabbit was in the middle of getting himself stuck in that tar baby worse, he didn't know it was a tar baby. He thought he'd been insulted and it was real. See? He was utterly unaware. It was pitch black in his mind. Jet black. Tar black in his mind. That tar baby is jet black. And that's when it's stickiest in your mind, when it is jet black and you have no awareness of it at all. You feel like it's real. I am a victim. Don't try to take my victimhood away. I'm a victim. That's right. You are a victim. And that's a tar baby for you. There's got to be justice in the world. I will not rest until there is justice in the world. Well, lucky you. You will never rest. That's a tar baby in your mind. Do what you can do in your life, in the present moment. Live your life in the present moment and become aware these things are tar babies. When you become aware of a tar baby, you're past it. It's just a lump of jet black tar on the side of the road. And now you can see it for what it is. You look down and you're Teflon. There's no tar on you. Well, maybe that's a little bit ambitious. Probably spend the rest of your life picking tar out of your fur. How about that? That's what I think about tar babies and tar baby junction on the path. Ask yourself today if you're caught in any tar babies and try to get out of them. Look at it and say, that there's a tar baby. That ain't got nothing for me. It's not insulting me. It's not fighting me. It's just sitting there drawing me in, waiting to get stuck. Ask yourself that question today, Pilgrim. What are tar babies for you? It's a beautiful day on the trail. We can get in a lot of miles today. Weather's mild Ain't no snow on the road. Let's get after it. Pilgrim, daylight's burning.